This is Overheard Overnight, and I'm Christopher Mark. I'm Jamaican by birth, but I didn't grow up listening to reggae music. Jamaica in the late 1960s, when I grew up, was chaotic and dangerous. It was barely 5 years after gaining independence from the United Kingdom, and the political differences in the island had basically blown over into virtually open warfare. It was the People's National Party, the PNP, versus the Jamaica Labour Party, the JLP. Particularly in Kingston, where we grew up, where we lived, the body count seemed to rise daily in skirmishes both during the day and at night. The music that saved the nation, literally, was reggae. At a huge concert called Smile Jamaica at the National Stadium on December 5th, 1976, Bob Marley took the stage and played his heart out and brought a fractured nation together with rebel music, reggae. Now, reggae is a musical genre that originated in Jamaica in the late 1960s. A 1968 single by Toots and the Maytals called Do the Reggae, Reggay is how that was spelled, was the first popular song to use the word reggae, effectively naming the genre and introducing it to a global audience. And while sometimes used in a broader sense to refer to most types of popular Jamaican dance music, the term reggae most properly denotes a particular style of music that was influenced by traditional mento, as well as by American jazz and rhythm and blues, and evolved out of the earlier genres of ska and rocksteady. Stylistically, reggae incorporates some of the musical elements of rhythm and blues, the jazz and the mento. Mento, by the way, is a truly rural folk music, celebratory in tone, that served a largely rural audience as a dance music and as an alternative to the hymns that have been adapted from the local church singing. It also draws heavily from traditional African folk rhythms. One of the most easily recognizable elements are the offbeat rhythms in reggae. The staccato chords played by either a guitar or piano or both, and they're done on the offbeats of the measure. Tempo is also slightly slower than both ska and rocksteady. Reggae is deeply linked to Rastafarianism, an Afrocentric religion that was developed in Jamaica in the 1930s, aiming at promoting Pan-Africanism. Reggae music is an important means of transporting vital messages of Rastafari. The musician becomes the messenger, and as Rastafari see it, the soldier and the musician are the tools for change. Buffalo Soldier, Dreadlock Rasta. There was a buffalo soldier in the heart of America, stolen from Africa, brought to America, fighting on arrival, fighting for survival. That's the opening verse of Bob Marley and the Wailers' hit Buffalo Soldier from the album Confrontation. It sums up the deep underlying foundation of reggae. Reggae was influential in much of rock music back in the 70s. Big names included the Police, Walking on the Moon, Elvis Costello, Watching the Detectives, the Specials, Ghost Town, the Clash, the Guns of Brixton, and of course Eric Clapton in his cover of I Shot the Sheriff. I Shot the Sheriff was originally recorded by Bob Marley and the Wailers and released on the 1973 album Burnin'. It was a cry for justice, a popular theme in Jamaica then, and a very important issue for Bob Marley in particular. Eric Clapton was inspired. He covered it and released it on his second solo album, 461 Ocean Boulevard. Reggae was firmly on top of the world. So now back to 1976. The political violence had worsened in Jamaica after we left for Canada in 1972. Ahead of the national general elections in 1977, the economy, the tourism part of it that was driven from outside the country, had virtually ground to a halt, and there was almost open warfare right across the island. At 8:30 p.m., to stave off a nation on the brink of disaster, 3 of December 3rd, if I remember correctly, 2 days before the Smile Jamaica concert, several men showed up with guns, armed, and raided Marley's home in Kingston. Marley and his band were on a break from rehearsal. Marley's wife, Rita, was shot in the head in her car in the driveway. The gunman shot Marley in the chest and arm. His manager, Don Taylor, was also shot in the leg and torso, and band employee Louis Griffiths took a bullet to his torso as well. However, there were no fatalities. And despite the attempt on his life, Marley insisted on his performance at the concert and that the concert go ahead. And that was 2 days later. What was to be only one song turned into a 90-minute set. Too strong to say that reggae saved the day, saved the nation? Maybe not. Rise up this morning, smiled with the rising sun. 3 little birds perched on my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true, singing, "This is my message to you. Don't worry about a thing, because every little thing gonna be all right." Singing, "Don't worry about a thing, because every little thing gonna be all right." I mentioned earlier that I didn't grow up listening to reggae, and boy, have times changed. By the time you see this, I will be back in one of my happy places, Negril, Jamaica, for my 12th running of the Reggae Marathon event that happens along the beach road in Negril. And the song that generally sends us out is that song, "Three Little Birds," from Bob Marley on the Wailers. Until next time.